Named after the villain in the 60s sci-fi film Barbarella, Duran Duran became one of the most commercially successful bands of the decade. Following a revolving lineup of singers in the late 70s, Simon Le Bon became the band's frontman, joining Nick Rhodes and three Taylors, Andy, John and Roger, in their rise to the top of the new romantic scene. But for all the dyed blonde tips, exaggerated pouts and David Bowie vocal impressions, they were serious about the music.
We actually wanted to perform live shows and build up a catalogue of songs that we'd written ourselves, and there's still a lot of artists out there that thankfully do that, but there are also, alongside that now, people that just want to be famous.
They had their first top 20 hit in 1981 with Planet Earth, which was quickly followed up by the #5 hit Girls on Film. They gained worldwide recognition in 1982 with their second album, which spawned Hungry Like the Wolf, Save a Prayer and the title single Rio. Labelled the Fab Five by the British press, they scored their first US #1 2 years later with The Reflex. Over the next couple of years, they had more hits with Wild Boys, Notorious and the James Bond theme View to a Kill. After that came a grab bag of lineup changes, solo projects, bust-ups and reunions. Finally, in 2001, core members Simon, John, Nick and Roger decided to give it another crack, and since then they haven't looked back. Instead of banging out the old hits, they got straight to work on their first full album since 1993.
I think when I look at the early lyrics now, I see that they were very fantastical. They were fantasy lyrics, a lot of it. It was kind of, there's a bit of science fiction in there, and there was some sort of real kind of out there thinking. And I think that's because I had limited experience. And what's you know, with age, you get life experience and you get something a bit more concrete to base your lyrics on, you know. And I think that's where that's really where Astronaut's at. But then, having said that, there is a bit of out there on there as well.
They went even more out there with the release of their 2007 Red Carpet Massacre, which included the controversial collaboration with Justin Timberlake, Falling Down.
The idea that, well, that people are getting that there's this magical rehab place, and that people, you know, every day somebody's going into rehab, and some of them are coming out transformed, most of them aren't. But we kind of took that idea and really ran with it, and it's very fashion-oriented, it's very sexy, it's very crazy.
In 2008, the band underwent their own stint in rehab. Well, at least their old hits did. Undergoing the Mark Ronson treatment, songs like Wild Boys, Rio and The Reflex were remixed and revamped to help introduce Duran Duran to a new audience. Once the Uber producer had worked his magic, the band got down to the business of working out how to recreate the remixed versions live.
I think it's going to be the first time a band have tried to actually play a DJ set, you know, whether they actually crossfades and sun's cutting in.